Before the Nazis abandoned the Treblinka extermination camp, they razed the gas chambers to the ground to hide the physical evidence of the murder of an estimated 800,000 to 1 million Jews, Roma, and others. Traditional methods of archaeological excavation conflict with Jewish law that stipulates that buried human remains should not be disturbed. But new forensic archaeological methods offer ethical ways to find evidence, locate mass graves, and better understand the architecture of the camps. Methods such as LiDAR create detailed 3D models of sites and locate depressions and vegetation change, while ground-penetrating radar helps to identify traces of structures and graves without disturbing the ground. Using these methods and through targeted excavations, Caroline Sturdy Colls and her team were able to discover the remains of the gas chambers at Treblinka, as well as many personal belongings of both the victims and the guards, uncovering physical evidence of the horrors that occurred there.
My name's Caroline Sturdy Colls. I'm a professor of Holocaust archaeology and genocide investigation and the director of the Centre of Archaeology at the University of Huddersfield. My research focuses on the forensic archaeological investigation of sites of the Holocaust and other genocides. I knew that any crime leaves behind a trace, and so many millions of people were murdered that their bodies, their belongings, the fabric of the camps that were created to murder them must survive. And often when we read the histories of the Holocaust, that isn't what they say. They say that all of those traces were destroyed because the Nazis went to such lengths to hide their crime. We knew from witness testimony that many mass graves were likely to exist, but when we walked around that landscape, there was obstructed vegetation. It was very difficult to see where those graves may well have been, and without the ability to excavate, it was actually impossible to look beneath the ground without those methods. So LiDAR enabled us to strip away the trees in those forested areas, and very quickly we saw subtle depressions in the ground that indicated the presence of graves. And so I think that it takes a lot of trust for families to approve that work to be done, for museums and memorial centres to approve that work to be done. And for me, it's an absolute privilege to be able to find the evidence and to share that with families. And I've actually taken quite a few families to the locations where they lost loved ones because they've wanted to know about the history of those places and about the archaeological findings. And they're some of the most profound moments in my career to be able to do that.
The prize selection committee noted Caroline Sturdy Colls' enormous impact on the field through her development of practical and ethical protocols for conducting archaeological investigations of Holocaust and genocide sites.